Hello guys, this is the next part of tutorial videos, and in this part we will add logic to present some actions that can be done to an item if we right click on it. So let's start. Let's open a folder of our special inventory version 2 in my case, open interactions, and here I'm gonna create a new folder called container item actions. Let's open it and create a blueprint enumeration e container item action. Let's open it and add all actions that are possible in game. For example, equip, eat, drink, throw away, description. Mm, I think that's enough for now. Now let's close it and let's open our BC container item object and add a new variable called actions of type e container item action. This is going to be an array. Let's make it instance editable, exposed on spawn, and private. And let's add a function called get actions. Instead of returning actor to spawn, we're gonna return an array of actions for this item. Compile, save. Well, now let's open a UI and create new folder. Let's call it actions. And we have to create few widgets. First is gonna be a user widget for action button. Let's call it VB container action button. Open it and add a button. Let's set its background color. Maybe it will be some black with alpha of 0.3, 0.5. And a button will have a text in it, centered, without, no, with paddings. Let's select here not fill screen but desired, and change paddings in our button. For example, top is gonna be 8, bottom is gonna be 8, and left, right, I think they are fine. I'm gonna change font to regular and size of font to maybe 10. I'm gonna increase horizontal paddings to 10 and 10. And decrease vertical paddings to 5, 5 maybe, or 2, 2. Well, select txt and let's make it a variable txt button title. Make it a variable. Compile, save. Open event graph and let's create a new variable and let's call it action of type e action e container item action. Let's make it instance editable, exposed on spawn, private, save and compile. So delete everything except preconstruct, and in preconstruct we're gonna get an action and select on it. We're gonna get also a txt and set text depending on action. So connect select to a text and it will change the type of selector to text selector. So for equip, I will have title equip, for eat, eat, for drink, drink, for throw away, and for description, description. Now we can, now let's create a second widget. This is gonna be a list of action buttons. Let's call it VB container actions list. And let's open it. Here we're gonna add a size box and we're gonna override only width and let's make it 100 maybe. Set desired on screen and for test purposes let's add a button here. Search for VB container action button into our we need to add a vertical box first into our size box and we're gonna add VB container item button action button into our vertical box. 1, 2, 3. So this is how our selector looks like now. I don't like how it looks. So size box doesn't have any background. Let's select vertical box and wrap it with a border and set a color to background of our list of actions. Maybe something black with opacity of 0.3. Well, okay, now we can remove all items from vertical box. Save and compile. Let's select vertical box and make it a variable. Let's call it VB actions box. Make it a variable. Open a graph and add a variable called actions of type E container item action. And here it's gonna be an array, also instance editable, exposed on spawn, and private. Delete everything except pre-construct. Now let's get these actions, and for each of them, using for each loop, we're gonna create a widget. Create widget of type button VB container action button that we have just created. Plug in for each array element to action pin, and we're gonna get our vertical box and add child to vertical box. Well, also I want to add some spacing between buttons. Maybe I'm not sure whether I will add it. Yes, so let's construct object from class, and maybe it will be not a spacer, but it will be a spacer. So, and also I'm gonna add this child to a vertical box. So I'm just duplicating previous use of this function and connect it. Also for a spacer, I want to set a size. On X it is 0 and on Y it will be something like 2 points. Well, okay. So what do we have to do now? Let's open our test actors. Interaction, for example, Apple, And we have to provide an actions to our container item that are used with this object. So let's make array. And first is gonna be it, second is gonna be throwaway, and third is gonna be description. Let's add this. This is not the same, but for example, equip, throwaway, and description for cabbage. Well, now we have to handle right click on our item. To do that, let's open a widget for our item. It's WB container item. It's not visible now because it's here it is. Well, it's not visible now. So we have opened WB container item and we need to override. Oh, we already overridden a function on mouse button down to detect a drag. And here what we're gonna do, we're gonna check with the branch if mouse button down is right mouse button and plug it into branch, and mouse event goes to input. So if it is false, then we are detecting drag, maybe left mouse button is clicked. If true, then it means that we have clicked on an object with the right mouse button. Okay, we should return from here, and we need to show our actions widget, but we need to show it not in this widget. So also let's return handled, and we need to tell a parent of this widget that a description or actions list for this widget is requested now. So let's add a new event dispatcher and call it on right mouse button. And let's call it from here. Save and compile. Well, let's also tell on which widget we have clicked with the right mouse button. So let's select here and add an input on widget of type UVB container item, and what item it represents. Item BC container item. So on widget is going to be a reference to self, and the item is going to be an item from variables. Save and compile. Now we're going to open WB container cell, and in place where we are setting up our items, where are they? In draw items, we're calling create widget for an item, and we previously bind it an event on item removed. So now let's bind an event bind event on right mouse button here. Again, let's create an event and create a matching function. Let's call it on right mouse button. Here from a cell we have to tell our row that something was clicked with the right mouse button. So let's add an event dispatcher and call it on right mouse button. Oh, on right mouse on item right mouse button, and the event dispatcher will be on right mouse button. It will have the same inputs, like item bc container item bc container item and widget of type wb container item. And let's call it this function. Also, let's copy this event dispatcher because we will have to use it one more time, at least one more time. And let's open wb container row, find a place where a widget is created. It is created in pre-construct, cell is created here, and let's bind event on right mouse button for our cell. Let's paste event dispatcher. Okay, we can paste it. Well, create event, create matching function on cell right mouse button. New event dispatcher on right mouse button with the same inputs. Item, bc container item, and widget wb item wb container item. And we're gonna call this dispatcher, call from here, item widget, save compile. Now let's open wb container. And we're gonna do the same. We're gonna bind event for every row. Create event, create matching function on row right mouse button, and we're gonna create an event dispatcher called on right mouse button with the same inputs as item, bc container item, and widget wb container item, and we're gonna call it from here. Now let's finally save everything and open wb inventory widget and navigate to a refresh inventory function to the place where we are creating container widgets and bind an event. So we're gonna bind an event on right mouse button and create event. Create a matching function called show detail show actions for widget. Well, here we're gonna have a logic to show an actions. First, we're gonna create a widget of type wb actions. Oh no, how we have called it? wb container actions list. We have to provide an actions list to present. We can get them from an item, get actions, like this. And we need to promote it to a variable and call it actions widget. So why do we promote it to a variable? Because every time we're right-clicking on different items, we want to show only one action widget. So if previous action widget has been shown or is showing right now, and we're clicking on another item, previous actions list should be closed. So before everything here, we are getting actions widget, converting it to validate get, and if it is not valid, we are doing this. And if it is valid, we are removing from a parent and creating it again. So now we need to present it somehow. So we want to present it not on a viewport, we want to add it to a canvas panel that we have here. And we need to know a location of a widget that we interacted with. So we're gonna get a widget, get a widget. Where is it? Here it is. And we need to know its position. So to get its location, we have to use it as a canvas slot, position, get position. So this will return us a position on the screen, I think. I'm not sure. So, and we need to know where we're gonna add it. So, by the way, I think we have to add it into our whole canvas panel. So let's select our canvas panel and call it cp root canvas, make it a variable, save, compile, get it here, and add child to canvas. And this is gonna be this widget. Also, we need to set a position. I'm not sure, maybe we can. So now let's get our actions widget. Get, oh, we don't need to get it again. Here, after adding actions widget to a canvas as a additional slot, it will return us a canvas slot. And here we can set position. We can set position for this actions widget like this. Now let's check it. Where will it appear? So it appears here. And if I will remove cabbage here, nothing will be changed. Okay, so where is our... So what we're gonna do, first we're gonna disconnect set position, and we have got position of this widget, and let's convert it to local to absolute. We need to pass a geometry, so we can get cache geometry of a widget, and it will convert a position of this widget into absolute coordinate space. And next we're gonna convert absolute to local, and geometry is gonna be a cache geometry of canvas panel root canvas. Let's get cached geometry, and this is gonna be a new position. Well, it should work, but we have to check it. Yeah, now it works, but well, it looks awful. So this looks awful, and the reason for this is, let me open a user interface for actions list. Let's select our vertical box. And let's increase the size box width, by the way, to maybe 150, 130, because as I saw, a few titles were out of bounds. And what do we have to do is, well, let's change a little bit our container list visual. So we have a size box, and let's wrap it with a canvas panel like this. And in canvas panel we have a size box that should be, I think that should be fine. No, nothing is changed. And what do we need? We have a border. Not this. So we have a border in our canvas panel. We have a vertical box. So what about border? It should be scaled on whole canvas. So vertical box is the same, and check size to content for vertical box. I don't see whether it is drawn or not. So let's select border and set its brush color to red. No, it's not drawn. Also, let's select a button and change a button size by wrapping whole button with a size box. Right click on a button, wrap with, and select a size box. Let's select minimum desired width as 100. So this is going to be a minimum width. It can be bigger if a title will be longer. And a height override is going to be 30, 20, maybe 20. Let's select title, and title is located perfectly in the center. So the problem is with paddings. I'm gonna remove them and leave only right and left paddings to 5, 5. So, and size box is 20 on height always, and it will have minimum width of 100. Also, I'm gonna select a button and draw it not as a rounded box, but as just a box. I don't like these corners. So now let's try it now. Well, still not working. So size to content, size box here. Maybe let's scale text, but it should not affect anything by the way, so I'm gonna return it back to centered layout. So the problem is here, and honestly I don't understand why it's not working right now. Okay, so open an widget for whole inventory, and after adding a child to a canvas, call set auto size with true, and only then set a position. So now it is working. Let's change the user interface a little bit so it will look cleaner. I'm gonna change a border color to black with alpha 05. Vertical box should have some paddings. Let's select custom position, custom size. Height is gonna be 200, 250, and 150 here. Let's add few buttons for test container button, container action button, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So now we can change an offset for a vertical box and see how it will look like. So I'm gonna add an offset from top, 7 from left, 7 from right, 10 from bottom. Well, not bad. So now I can delete these buttons, and I'm gonna add a background blur to a border without any paddings, and set blur strength to 5 or even more, 15. So let's see how it will look like now. Awful. It looks awful. Why? Let's change an opacity of border from 0.5 to 0.8. So I think that's more designer issue than of our menu, but we have to verify that everything works correctly. So we have some buttons here, and we have a vertical box. Maybe let's increase an offset to 15, 15, 10, 10. And let's select a button and make some separators. Maybe colorize it somehow. Let's change the color of a button a little bit. So background color of a button, let's make it gray. And let's see how it will look like now. The buttons looks fine, but the size of our canvas is still incorrect. Oh, maybe no. Custom doesn't affect anything, so we are using, because we're using auto size. At least it shouldn't affect anything. So to fix this, let's add our vertical box to a background blur and not separately into canvas panel. Just drag it into background blur, select border and check size to content. So after that, we have to select our vertical box and we can change paddings here. So it's gonna be 10 from top, 10 from bottom, or maybe not 10, 5, 5, 5, and 5. So here is how it will look like. Let's delete, I'm gonna delete buttons that I have added for test. So now let's see how it will look like. So now you can see that we have a menu that looks pretty fine, but it is located at incorrect locations. So I wanted to appear from a center of a widget. So let's change it. Let's open a widget for our inventory where we are creating our actions list. In show actions for widget, let's navigate to set position, and we have to change this position a little bit. Let's break it. And we need to add half of a widget size. So let's we already got this widget and got is as a canvas slot. We can get size and break it. Let's divide it by 2, and the same for y. And for x we're gonna add this value, and for y I don't remember. I think that we have to subtract y, or I don't remember whether we have to add y or subtract, because I don't remember how coordinate axes look like in widgets. So now we can split positions in set position, and x goes to x, y goes to y. Save, compile. Oh, let's see where it will appear. Um, what? So the problem is not with y for first widget at least. The problem with y is for second widget for some reason. And can we just get a center? No. We got a position, but nothing has changed. So to fix this issue, we don't have to use cache geometry of a widget. We have to use the cache geometry of a parent of this widget. So get parent from this widget and get cache geometry from a parent and paste it to local to absolute. Also, for size, we should not use get size from a canvas slot. Our widget have a size box, and we can get width override and get height override. And we can divide width and height and use them in the separations. So now it should look okay. So yes, now you can see that it's shown from a center. Well, it looks not very beautiful, but at least it appears. Also, you can see that for apple it's eat, throw away, and description actions, and for cabbage it's equip, throw away, and description actions. Also, if I'm clicking somewhere, I don't, on an empty space, then nothing is happening. And I'm expecting that this actions widget will disappear. So to fix this, let's open our inventory, and we have an input and so on. Well, let me think a little bit. So what we're gonna do? In our inventory widget, main inventory widget, let's override a function on mouse button down. Here we're gonna check mouse button is mouse button down. It's gonna be left mouse button or any mouse button, left, right, middle, add a branch, and connect mouse events to each of them and check it with or condition or boolean. And if it is true, then we are returning handled. And we're gonna get our actions widget converted to validate get. So if it is valid, we're gonna remove it from parent. If it is not valid or if it returns false, we're gonna return node unhandled. Well, this will work for us only if we will touch an empty grid of our inventory. What if we will do a left mouse click on another item? Nothing will happen. So what do we have to do? We're telling on right mouse button clicked on some object. And what if we just click on what if drag was detected, for example? So I think that we have to what if we will override it? So instead of using on mouse button down, let's use on preview mouse button down. You can find this function here in override list. And what we're gonna do here, we're gonna check as previously for if it was one of these mouse buttons. If true and actions widget is valid, then we are removing it from parent. And don't forget to set this widget to nothing, because previously it was just removed, but it wasn't set to nothing, and this validation was passed and always returned handled. So, and return handled in this case. Well, if this condition is not passed and widget is not valid, then we are returning unhandled. So now, when I right clicking here and left clicking, or for example right clicking on another item, it disappears. So for example, if I also right click on it and start to drag it, this widget disappears. Also, we have to check if our left click or right click is going to this widget. So we need to know where we are right clicking and if we have to remove this widget in this case. So how do we gonna do this? We gonna use a mouse position to define on which widget we are watching now. For example, as previously we got mouse position. As previously we got mouse position, we can get it here, I think, get screen space position of our mouse event. It's in screen space, so we can convert it to local space, or even I'm not sure that we need it. We can get our actions widget, get it as get its parent, get oh no no not get its parent, get it as a canvas slot, get as canvas slot, and check absolute position, get its position, and convert it local to local to absolute. And we need to pass a geometry as previously. We're gonna get a parent and get cached geometry. So now we have two positions, position of a widget and position of our action where we tapped with our mouse. So if let's break them all. We also need to know a size of our widget. So let's get size, no, get size box, size box. Oh, I understood. So let's get desired size of widget and also break it. So we need to check if this is in bounds. Maybe it have bounds in. Well, no, I think that we is under location. Well, so now let's that is a minimum position. That's the lower bound of a box, and this plus x and y plus y are maximum bounds of a box. And we have to check if this x is in range of minimum x and maximum x. And the same for y. We have to check if y is in range of minimum y and maximum y. And if at least if both of them are true, then it means that our cursor is above our actions widget right now. And in this case, we are adding a branch before removing a widget from a parent and removing it only in false and plugging this into branch. On true, we're gonna return unhandled. Compile and save. Let's try it. So I'm right clicking here, left clicking here, and nothing is happening. But as soon as I click here, or here, or here, so on, it disappears. So that's it for this video, and I think we will continue handling these actions that we have created in the next video. So hope it will help someone. Thank you.